Nickelodeon has always been one of the biggest kids TV channels. There's a wide variety of content in both live action and animated shows. While they've often been pretty successful, I want to take a look at the future of animation in particular on the channel and why things aren't looking so good at all. Keep in mind, this is my personal speculation and Nick may end up giving us a curveball where better cartoons release, but in its current state, I don't think that'll happen. Taking a look at the lineup of cartoons airing on Nickelodeon is disappointing to say the least. Excluding those really young preschool shows, you have the obvious stuff like SpongeBob, The Loud House, and Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There are also a few other shows like Alvin and the Chipmunks, yeah, that's still going, I don't know why, and Lego City Adventures. But from what I've seen on the channel, there's a pattern here that may result in a dark future for Nickelodeon in the long run. You'll notice that many of the shows are relying on previous popularity, whether it be from everyone's love for Legos or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that have existed for so long. Aside from that, Nick is going ahead with several spin-offs that are meant to succeed because of name recognition. For example, Camp Coral is a highly controversial CG SpongeBob prequel series to attract fans of the iconic Sponge, while Los Casagrandes takes place in the Loud House world, just instead focusing on Ronnie Ann's family. If we're talking revivals, there's Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling and Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, which are both movies that aired on Netflix returning to the classic worlds. They were really well done to satisfy fans of the original shows, which is awesome, but then you also have that CG Rugrats revival that'll last much longer on the network since it's a series as opposed to a movie. Relying on popularity from other cartoons or toys isn't a bad thing. It's a perfectly fine strategy, but the real problem is clear when you realize just how much Nick is doing that. We are at a point in time where very few original animated shows are being made for the channel, and instead there's just a bunch of reboots and spin-offs. The Loud House is one of the biggest modern exceptions here, because even if I'm not a big fan myself, I can still appreciate that it's entirely original. Then again, that started a few years ago, and since then, there hasn't been a lot of unique stuff to follow its place. What makes everything even worse is that Nick often doesn't treat original animation with care. A good example of this is Glitch Text, which actually looks like an amazing show. It involves video games and fighting enemies, it's an original premise, the animation is cool, but guess what happens to that? Production was shut down before episodes started premiering on Nick, and it was delayed into 2020 with no release date in sight. Some of you may remember Welcome to the Wayne. It's a fun, original mystery series about solving secrets in a hotel. Despite this being a quality cartoon, surprise, Nick took forever to air the second half of season 1, and then they put all their season 2 episodes on the dead Nicktoons channel, which gets significantly less views. Nick just isn't giving original content a chance, while at the same time relying only on past properties. This strategy may work well for them in the short term, but if we're talking the far future, I don't see anything great happening for Nick Animation as long as they keep this up. Cartoon Network is a perfect example of how you can have original shows and still make them do well. There's a huge variety of content, the majority of it not being based on existing properties. If we're talking just animation, CN is miles and miles ahead of Nick. Their modern lineup of shows is proving that. So overall, Nick usually doesn't like taking risks with original content and instead relies too much on previously existing franchises. At some point in time, less and less people will tune in because they want to see an original show, something that hasn't been done before instead of the same types of cartoons each year. But once again, this is only my perspective on the situation, and things could still turn out very different for the future of animation on Nick. Feel free to leave a comment with predictions on what you think will happen, cause I want to hear your thoughts. But anyway, that's all for this video. Subscribe for more awesome cartoon videos. Give a thumbs up and comment below, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.